Welcome to Mr. Rock's Top 10 Hell in a Cell matches. Your host, Mr. Rock. Hope everyone's doing wonderful out there and wonderful world YouTube. Big shout out to the Gaming Jew, Mike, my Elvis Presley brother, Rufus the Red, my Fox Kids brother, Hell Gorgans, my Brogans, Minky Minx, Sinistar, my Body Wash Sniffer, Rob himself, Miss Kiwi Gaming, King of the Randoms, Jade, and the rest. If you haven't, please like and subscribe to those channels. And with that being said, we're going to get into today's video. So the very first Hell in a Cell match happened October 5th, 1997. So that's the reason why I'm kind of doing it now, because to celebrate 26 years now? 26 years of Hell in a Cell. So yeah, that's when Kane made his debut and everything else. So yeah. With that being said, the first one, number 10, Mankind versus Kane on Raw 1998. So this was the go-home show for SummerSlam 98. They had Kane versus Mankind and Hell in a Cell. It didn't end. Like, honestly, the match is probably still could go to this day because the match did not end. It was not a good match. So, in my opinion. So, yeah. Just hold on, I just want to make sure that sometimes in the past I've had problems with YouTube. So, okay, there we go. So yeah, number 10 is Mankind versus Kane, which pretty much ended in no contest. It was not a good match in my opinion, but it deserves because it's still Kane and Mankind, you know. So yeah. Next one is Randy Orton versus The Undertaker at Vengeance 05. That one was a good match, but it was very controversial. It's a very controversial match because that's where Randy Orton's dad had hepatitis C or something like that and almost gave it to The Undertaker, and Undertaker got pissed off about because Randy Orton's dad was bleeding in the match. Yeah. And I think, who was it? I think maybe Randy Orton won that match. I'm not sure if Randy Orton and Undertaker won the match. But either way, I remember it being a good match. It's just that it was a controversial match. And technically, when there's controversy underneath it, it kind of kills it, you know. So yeah. The next one is Triple H versus Batista at Vengeance 05. Batista just was the World Heavyweight Champion. He is feuding with Triple H because Triple H was trying to get his belt back. I think this was the final chapter of their match, which happened in, what was it, July of 05, I think. I think this is the final chapter because Batista went to SmackDown and everything else. So, yeah. It was just a really good Hell in a Cell match. But the problem about the match was that when you've seen the match go on and on and on, and that's the biggest problem about some of these wrestlers. You know, like they'll have literally like a series of matches that go on and on and on. You kind of get bored after a while of seeing the same match over and over and over again. And that's the reason why it's so low on the list. Like, it was a good match, it's just that technically they done better matches. You know. And so, yeah. Number 7, Shawn Michaels versus Triple H at Bad Blood 04. The most longest Hell in a Cell match back then. I don't know if it is still today, but it was 40 minutes. Triple H did most of the fucking work. Shawn Michaels flopped in the whole entire match. They're both a bloody mess by the end of it, but it was just a long, kind of boring match. And honestly, I would actually maybe have changed my list to put in this one to number 10 because it was so boring. But at the end of the day, Triple H did deserve a lot of work. Like, there's two icons that literally stand the test of time when it comes. No, three icons that stand the test of time when it comes to Hell in a Cell matches. Mick Foley, Undertaker, and Triple H. When it comes to it, and Triple H really deserved the credit where credit's due. You know. But yeah, that match probably one of the longest ones, but it was okay for what it was. The next one was Kevin Nash versus Triple H, Bad Blood 03. Like I said, Triple H is literally the man behind Hell in a Cell. I always still say he is Undertaker, Mankind, Mick Foley. But Kevin Nash, when he literally came back, you know, it was kind of like DX versus NWO in a Hell in a Cell. You know, that's what I see, and that's the reason why I actually like this match. You know, it was slow. It was not for everyone, but that was the closest that you could actually say. Okay, we have NWO versus D Generation X in a Hell in a Cell. Because Triple H was supposed to be the leader, who I think China was the real leader of D Generation X. Quote my words, I don't give a damn. You know, people say Shawn Michaels, Triple H were. No, China was. You know, if it wasn't for China, there probably wouldn't be a D Generation X, to be honest, when you really think about it. You know, you had two dickheads that technically couldn't even freaking figure out their freaking gym sock to their underwear to their jock strap. So, so yeah. But yeah, Kevin Nash and Triple H was a good match. But yeah. The next one, number 5, is Chris Jericho versus Triple H, Judgment Day 2002. They literally, like, this would be higher up if it wasn't that they already were feuding at the time. This was the final chapter. Like, yeah, they wrestled at WrestleMania 18 in front of the freaking crowd and everything else, and they had an okay match at WrestleMania 18. But the Chris Jericho Triple H Hell in a Cell match was way better. You know, those two actually had great chemistry together. And a lot of people don't know that because they literally were feuding even in the year 2000 when Chris Jericho won the world champion, but Earl Hebner literally had to change that decision. But yeah. Um, but I always said that technically, you know, wrestling is wrestling, and it's just sometimes the chemistry is there, sometimes it's not there. But on that night, Chris Jericho and Triple H literally had chemistry, and it just worked out perfectly. Now, number 4, I said it earlier: Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker, the very first Hell in a Cell match. A lot of people would say that this is number 1 on their list because of Kane's debut and everything. Now, I recently rewatched some of these matches not too long ago, some of these Hell in a Cell matches. But yeah, it was a good match for its time. Was it iconic? Yes, it was iconic. And that's why technically it's at number 4. But I still think these 3 last matches deserve a little bit more than what you literally think. Um, like, if it wasn't for, like, King's debut, I don't think the match would have been iconic. I hate to say it, I don't think the match would have been iconic. But Kane debuting and everything else, literally freaking, when he opened the freaking door, bust right through the door, tombstones The Undertaker, gives Shawn Michaels the win. It was like, whoa, you know? And at the time, it was like, holy crap, this guy's a fucking monster. This guy just tombstoned The Undertaker. He literally hit him with his own goddamn move. You don't see shit like that, especially at that time, you know? You see the Undertaker literally go down, but you didn't see him go down with his own move. So it was just iconic for that. Um, but yeah. So number 3, Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker No Mercy 2002. Holy crap, was that match freaking awesome. Undertaker, broken arm and all, with the cast, hammering Brock Lesnar, busting him wide open. And not only that, but it made Brock Lesnar the man that night. Like, everyone says that Brock Lesnar literally freaking beating The Rock made him the man. No, when you could beat The Undertaker, in a Hell in a Cell match, which is supposed to be his game, he was in the first one. And not only that, but technically, he beat him clean in the ring. 1, 2, 3 in the freaking ring. You know? And I literally went, wow, this is a goddamn beast. You know? And it also showed me a lot of respect for Brock Lesnar for a freaking performer, what he can do. You know? And then when he started moving forward, that's when he started going to WrestleMania 19 and all that stuff. And then you really started seeing the real Brock Lesnar, you know, what he can actually perform. But when he was a rookie, you know, the reason why, and I literally still stand by this, the reason why he got the title belt so early is because The Rock went to Hollywood, you know. So they wanted to push Brock Lesnar because he was literally the next big thing. That's what they're hoping for. But I think if Rock didn't go to Hollywood, the title would not have been on Brock so early. But yeah. Um, but number 2 is right here. Right here. King of the Ring 1998. Mankind versus Undertaker. It's my number 2. There's still one match that's better, I still say. But what Mick Foley went through in that match, holy fucking shit. I don't know how the guy is still alive to this day. I don't know how you're alive, buddy. You know, like you literally freaking got freaking thrown off the freaking thing into the announce table. Literally 20 minutes later, you're climbing back up the cage to get freaking choke slammed for the freaking steel cage. And not only that, but that almost killed you. You're literally like seconds away from your freaking life. I don't know how you did it. You know, if I were you, I would literally freaking be literally going, I never want to wrestle again. But this son of a bitch was still wrestling after that match. You know, if some guy's trying to freaking kill me, I don't know if I'm gonna wrestle again. You know, but he did. And not only that, but Undertaker was also injured in that match. A lot of people don't know that, but Undertaker was also injured in that match. I think he had something to do with his foot or something, or his leg. It was something to do with his foot or leg or something like that. He was injured during that match as well, like even beforehand, going into it. And number 1, my number 1 match for Hell in a Cell, Cactus Jack versus Triple H, No Way Out 2000. Holy shit, was that a good match. You had the Cactus Jack versus Triple H rivalry that happened at Royal Rumble 2000. And no one thought that they could up their freaking game from that match. No one thought that because that was such a good match. The Street Fight Royal Rumble 2000, iconic match. But the next match, holy shit. Mick Foley putting his career on the line against Triple H, saying straight up, I want one last match, Hell in a Cell. You know. And not only that, but he brought the flaming barbed wire, starts freaking whacking Triple H in the ribs. You got the freaking thing going scraping against his face. It was nothing more than just a bloody freaking bath. And honestly, take notes, WWE. That's how you do a fucking Hell in a Cell match. Don't fucking do DQs in a fucking Hell in a Cell match like you have been doing recently, I heard. You know? Like I seen, what was it, that Fiend versus Seth Rollins match? How the fuck does that match add in a DQ? Hello? No DQ in a Hell in a Cell match. It says in the goddamn rules, ref. So, honestly, that's where WWE's going to shit right now. And then technically, until they can get their freaking act straight and figure out where they want to go, WWE's always going to be shit. Even though they signed a new deal with TKO, you know, it's still shit until they can freaking fix this problem, you know, because no one's going to want to watch a match which technically is supposed to have no DQ, have DQ in it, you know. So yeah, that is my list. Top 10 Hell in a Cell matches. And also Triple H wins wins my number 1, you know, because he did win the match against Cactus Jack. Right after that match, about a week later, I was in a coma, so I did not get to watch WrestleMania 16 live. I got to see it way later. So, yeah. Yeah. With that being said, I'll catch you guys on Monday with a game called Inside. I never played it before, so I'm going to try it out, see how the game is. If I like it, whatever. If I don't, whatever. Doesn't matter. But I'll see you guys Monday with that game. Until then, catch you guys in the next one. Later, everyone.